You can't say that kind of stuff. You'll be pushed out, right? You'll be pushed out and you'll be defamed. And Gibson was, of course, destroyed. And now that these racist rants were exposed, who would possibly take him seriously after that, right? After those tapes were leaked. And Hollywood went on to survive another day. And we now know that a big portion of this new Mel Gibson documentary, this 4-part documentary, will center around Ukraine and Ukraine's child trafficking operation. And this is not just 10 kids, 100 kids, more than 10,000 kids, at least in Ukraine, sold off to be, quote, harvested. Yes, harvested, the words they use. Those are the words they use, not mine. Those are the words they use. And they take advantage of these situations, war zones, hurricanes, earthquakes, etc. NATO's proxy war in Ukraine has revealed a lot about the criminal elements operating there. We've certainly covered them here on the show, and they've been exposed in many quarters now as a result of the proxy war. Also, organ harvesting. New documentary out that RT has on the organ harvesting that's been taking place. That's another story for another day. We now know that Mel Gibson is about to release this documentary because the man who leads the global effort to stop child trafficking, one of the men who leads this, is Tim Ballard. And he told us so. This is Tim Ballard. He's a husband, father, former CIA, former DHS special agent, undercover operator, who left and founded Our Rescue, which is a nonprofit that helps to stop this. Here's what their website says. We exist to rescue children from sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. We lead the fight against child sex trafficking and sexual exploitation around the globe. We will not give up and will continue to go to the darkest places until the light is restored and every child is protected. So they exist to stop these children from being exploited. If you're looking for a charity to support, we were talking about Oxfam a minute ago. Maybe you donate, the money that you were going to do over there. Maybe this is a better charity for you to be putting your money into. I can't think of a better one at the moment, to be honest with you. We've reached out to Tim to join us here on the show because we would love to share Tim's message and help any way that Redacted can. So we hope that Tim will be a guest on the show. It turns out that Tim Ballard is working directly with Mel Gibson to show the world the horrors of this $34 billion operation. He published this message on social media, which is now legend because Mel Gibson is now trending all over Twitter. Yes. Why? Because of this. Tim Ballard. Can't wait to tell you exactly why Mel Gibson is wearing this hat, which is the Our Rescue hat. Big announcement coming soon. And then Tim gave a speech. This speech a short time ago explaining how Mel reached out to him when he found out that what was unfolding in Ukraine. He asked him for help to stop it. Orphans that he supports in Ukraine, get them out of there. Can you help them? And to get the kids out of this area. Tim asked for help in getting the word out, and maybe they could film this process, teach others about what's going on in this world, child sex trafficking. He thought that they were going to be just covering what was happening in Ukraine. Turns out it was a much bigger story than they could have even imagined. Watch him explain his contact with Mel Gibson.
I told Mel, I said, you got to help me. This is going to be expensive. I won't ask you for direct donation, but can you help me film this? Let's film what's happening so we can get people to understand and they can support us. He said, no problem. He helped us get set up and started filming. 4 months later, what I thought was going to be maybe a documentary about Ukraine ends up being a 4-part docuseries that's almost done. It's being produced by DNA Films and executive produced by Tony Robbins. That's how crazy it got and how prophetic my wife was. When I showed up in Ukraine with a list of, I think, 20 names, the Ukrainians countered me and gave me over 10,000 names of orphans that they didn't know where they were.
That's just Ukraine. We know, in fact, that the United States alone, 800,000 children yearly go missing in the United States. 800,000. The United Kingdom, that number is 230,000. Germany, 100,000. Unbelievable.
I just read an article this last week about 27 kids in a week in Cleveland.
Yeah, gone. And then the border, the wide open border at the southern part of the United States where 85,000 kids, we just don't know where they are. So all of this part of this child sex trafficking. So I'm not going into any more details about it tonight. I just wanted to sort of preview where I see, get ready, guys, I guarantee you, we're going to see mainstream media articles, Hollywood-style articles coming out about Mel Gibson again, reminding all of you why you should ignore him. And I just want you to be prepared. That's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that everyone will embrace this and say, well, let's watch this 4-part documentary about world child sex trafficking. Let's watch it with an open mind. But I don't think that's how.
Maybe.
I want to see names, though. I want them to name names, because you know that, like, the people that are orchestrating this are not just your average people, because of the amount of money involved in it. This is like top level stuff. And so like it's
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you bring up a great point here. So there's always this, like, what we want to hear names. And from some of the witnesses and survivors who have escaped this, some who are high level, like executives in the banking world, people like that, who, when they were at a certain level, were then asked to become part of the network, which means take the next step. Come now to these parties. Come now to this network where these children are. You're going to be taking the next step. We're bringing you into our fold here, and you're going to be brought there. And some of them said absolutely, they became incredibly sick and said, no way, I can't do that. No way. And then they're threatened. And then they're threatened because now they know too much, and they're threatened with their family's bloodline being wiped out and killed, to the point where they have to go into hiding. And then they're being told, like, please, I won't mention your names. Do not kill my family, is basically what they're being told. I've heard this now from a couple of different survivors who've gone through this, both on the female side of this, who were child sex trafficked, as well as the people who were at the high level and who were invited to be a part of the trafficking, and have said the same thing. So I think some of the reasons why we don't hear some of these names is because of that. If they've managed to get out, they got out, and if they were to reveal names, they would have their family threatened as well. So really, really awful stuff. Awful stuff. So, anyway, we've invited Tim to come on the show, and we'd love to ask questions about what this documentary would entail, and how broad this goes, how deep this goes, and what sort of pushback they get from Hollywood and other places. But it'll be interesting to see. Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.